Chapter 59. Theodore and Serafina stood at a distance from each other, both of them deep in their thoughts. The living room was so quiet that you could hear a pin drop. After who knows how long. Serafina. Theodore. After the two spoke in unison, they were stunned again. Huh? Huh? Serafina curled her lips and said, "Don't be so sad. Also, I made you witness that, it's my fault for not." "It's not your fault," Theodore interrupted her, his tone very slow, "it's my fault. It's because I'm not understanding and not trustworthy that I made you suffer so much." She was stunned, her heart aching with warmth, unable to speak. He slightly narrowed his eyes, and said with difficulty, "I think, before, you definitely wanted to tell me Lily's true face, but you knew I wouldn't believe you, so you kept looking at me again and again." He couldn't control his emotions, "I'm such a bastard." She frowned, and quickly said, "If I were you, I would also trust someone close to me who has lived with me for 18 years more. I'm really fine, everything is fine anyway, can you stop blaming yourself? Don't be influenced by unimportant people, what we need to care about is doing our job well, protecting our family, creating our own happiness. Whether it's gaining or losing, trust or betrayal, just consider it a part of growing up." She became serious. "What you have to do is to quickly join the management of Smith Corporation. Aren't you doing very well? Don't let someone like that affect your progress." He nodded slowly and solemnly, "I know. Don't worry. I know what I want, I will also try to do it." His serious expression made her feel unfamiliar. She also realized that this lesson of guessing people's hearts had already been deeply imprinted in this big boy's heart. But there are some pains that are better to come early than late. She was reassured, and couldn't help but add another sentence. "No matter what, I will cheer for you, stay by your side." He rolled his eyes, looking at her with a complicated gaze, not responding. She smiled. "Go rest." After speaking, she turned around and was about to go upstairs. "Serafina." He called her. She turned around, he walked over, and without warning gave her a tight hug. She was stunned. She was shorter than him, being hugged by him, her heart was suddenly filled with warmth because she had a place to rely on. Moreover, this was the first time her younger brother hugged her directly like this, a feeling of happiness overflowing from finally training him rose in her heart. "Don't worry, I'm fine, I'm fine." He smiled. "I hope you don't worry about Smith's business anymore, and don't bear any grievances because of me anymore, I'll be very sad. Just happily be a screenwriter, okay?" She was very touched, but didn't know what he meant by bearing grievances. She had never felt any grievances about Smith Group's work. She was about to ask when he continued, "You were only born a few minutes earlier than me, so don't think you're really my big sister, taking on so much responsibility on yourself like that." His eyes seemed to flash, and he thought to himself, "If you sacrifice too much for me, even sacrifice your own happiness, I won't be able to bear it." After he finished speaking, he let her go, gently patted her head. "You have to believe that, if your personality is like a cockroach that can't be killed by beating it, then mine is no different." The next week, she was stuck in heaven company, discussing the details of the script with Brian and Emma. Because Emma was pregnant for the second time, she wanted to finish filming before it was inconvenient for her to walk, so the filming schedule was suddenly pushed forward, and the preparation work had to be carried out even more urgently. Serafina originally thought that after finishing the script, planning to choose the actors, and finding funding, it would take at least half a year, but unexpectedly, filming suddenly started in a month. It really made people excited and agitated, so it was worth it to have to work overtime to revise the script dozens of times in a week. On Thursday, Emma sent Serafina away again, saying that there was something important on Saturday, and she had to rest for 2 days, or else she would have to go see Mr. Lancaster with her panda eyes. Serafina couldn't change Emma's mind, so she had to rest. When she had some free time, she remembered the psychologist Harrison had recommended. Although everything had gone smoothly recently, and everything was gradually getting back to normal, there were still some things that needed to be handled by professionals, so she contacted the phone number and address on the piece of paper. This office was very uniquely designed, located in a newly opened tourist village, with green grass covering the hills and mountains, and a rippling lake beside it. There was only this white house. The floor-to-ceiling windows were spacious, and the blue curtains made the room's color very moderate, soft and bright, not dazzling at all. The reclining chair was made in the style of a cradle, and when she entered, she was surprised to feel her heart at peace. She couldn't help but secretly admire it. The psychologist Harrison had introduced was indeed not bad. Before the doctor arrived, she glanced at the bookshelf. Strangely, all of them were things she had seen and liked. In the CD box were her favorite music discs from the past. This strangely familiar feeling did not make her relax, but instead made her feel tense. A thought flashed through her mind. She picked up her bag and was about to leave, but just as she opened the door, she saw him. Still the same gentle and comfortable look, Vincent Jackson. Her heart sank, but she did not show any surprise on the outside, only taking a step back and smiling politely. "Doctor?" Vincent frowned slightly out of habit, then smiled. "Miss Serafina, I am psychological consultant Vincent Jackson." In this life, she didn't want to have anything to do with this man. She opened her mouth. "I have something urgent, so I have to cancel today's appointment," and after saying that, she intended to go around him and go out. Unexpectedly, he leaned over to block her, covering the door, smiling comfortably, but always seemed to be testing her. "How dare I not properly receive Mr. Harrison's friend?" It seemed that because he didn't want to put pressure on her, Harrison didn't say anything about their relationship, which was good. She frowned, her voice colder. "Isn't your coercive attitude not being a proper reception?" Vincent looked at her for a long time, not knowing what he was thinking, and suddenly asked, "Have you met me before, Miss Serafina?" She was shocked, but she had already calculated, only smiling indifferently. "No, today is the first time." "Then why are you avoiding me?" He looked at her intently. "It seems like you really hate me." Just now, he stood outside observing, seeing her flip through the books and CDs and then pick up her bag and leave. He knew everything. She lowered her eyes. It seemed like he had also come back to life. He came too suddenly. She didn't have time to prepare anything, so he just revealed it. Maybe he knew she wanted to come, so he tried his best to arrange the office like that, then stood outside to observe her every reaction. There was no point in her continuing to pretend. She looked up at him, very calmly. "You know it too well. Why are you still pretending to be friendly?" "Serafina," he also took off his mask, feeling both guilty and heartbroken at the same time. "It's my fault. I was stupid, I was foolish. Only after you jumped off the building in your previous life did I realize how miserable I was. This time I came to make up for it. Give me a..." "Enough." She interrupted him impatiently. "What are you looking for me for? To make up for your guilt or to satisfy your heroism? Do you want to free your heart and make you feel better?" "Sorry, I have no obligation, nor am I interested in caring about your weak soul. Your guilt, what right do you have to make me pay for it?" He saw her about to leave, and quickly pulled her. "We're both resurrected, isn't this a heaven-sent opportunity? Can't we talk? The feelings are gone, the memories are forgotten, the fate is exhausted, the person is dead." He already knows that and still wants to say it. Her eyes darkened, she turned around and kicked with all her strength. He was caught off guard, hitting the door and falling flat on his face. He calmly looked at her, not surprised or angry, only filled with pain, sadness, and deep regret. But facing his gaze, there was no emotion in her heart. "Vincent Jackson," she suddenly calmed down. There was no sadness or joy in her voice, nor love or hate. "Don't you know there is a phrase that says things change like stars move?" She looked out the window at the blue sky, absent-minded for a moment. She understood his attitude, the type of senior character in the same school, gentle, kind, very soft-hearted, good to everyone, but bad in that good nature towards everyone. He was good in every way, but he had no strength to resist a girl like Lily. She knew he was really remorseful and repentant now, but what good would that do? The Serafina of the past was already dead. If mistakes could be forgiven so easily, wouldn't all the pain she had experienced before be a joke? "Who you came back for, has nothing to do with me. But I came back, absolutely not for you." Her cold expression made his heart sink even more. He still wanted to hold her back, but she had already turned around and left. "Serafina." He sat on the ground, unable to stand up in time, painfully calling out. But in this world, only I know what you've been through, only I know you're suffering. Her footsteps stopped, her face turned cold. So what? Knowing, but just being indifferent and not doing anything, that's even more wrong. He was almost desperate, his voice trembling. Don't you want to know the ending of William and Lily? She stood there, kept silent. After about 10 minutes she replied, no need, knowing in this life is enough. She left without looking back. He collapsed against the door, his eyes filled with sadness. Although this meeting made her a little uncomfortable, she did not let her mood be affected by him, simply treating him as a passerby from the past. He and she had not seen each other for a long time. What she needed to care about now was her own life. Saturday, Mr. Lancaster's birthday. It was said that Mr. Lancaster did not want to make a big fuss, he only wanted to hold a small party with his family, but hearing that Harrison wanted to bring Seraphina, he probably wanted to show off his future granddaughter-in-law, so he decided to invite all his friends and relatives, and hold a grand birthday party. It was said to be a birthday celebration, but in reality, it was to let everyone get to know Harrison's girlfriend. When Seraphina was present, seeing politicians from famous families was not surprising at all. After all, the Lancaster family was modest and reserved, rarely holding parties. This was a rare opportunity. Of course they had to compete to help and please each other. Seeing the scene of 20 employees receiving gifts while the line was still full, Seraphina couldn't help but sigh. How many gifts are they going to receive? There were too many people coming, and all the important relatives were arranged inside. The scene of Seraphina being led by Harrison's hand through the hall attracted everyone's attention. Harrison has a girlfriend? Isn't this the young lady of the Beaumont family? So compatible, so perfect. The topic of everything today was focused on the two of them. Many elders of other families secretly sighed, originally intending to introduce their children to Harrison, but why did he suddenly have a girlfriend? Moreover, this young lady from the Beaumont family wore a fluffy dress with a white belt, her pear-shaped hair was tied with a white string, as pretty and lovely as a princess. Her hair was shoulder-length, of moderate thickness, blown up and slightly curled inward like pear petals. Harrison treated her like a treasure, from beginning to end holding her hand without letting go, as if afraid of someone snatching it away. There were a few people here who had seen him so cold that the wind blew without frowning, the rain flew without frowning, so who was this person with eyes full of affection, lips with a smile? His grandfather was also shocked by his grandson's smile and gentleness that was accidentally revealed. He hated physical contact with others the most, but he could hold her hand. He had always been cold as money, but he could smile, talk softly to her, and his eyes were gentle too. This was love. This birthday party was really fun. Seraphina was very obedient, sweetly greeting, "Happy birthday, Grandpa." Grandpa smiled and nodded, thinking to himself that the most precious birthday present today was her. Later, when his old friend Beaumont came, he would definitely discuss with her, pack this lovely little Seraphina in a box, tie a bow and send her straight to his house. As long as he could bring this gentle smiling little girl to his house, his family would not need a dowry, and would even give the girl's family a lot of gifts. Mr. Lancaster started to do the math. How many real estate stocks would he need to buy Seraphina to his house? But no matter what, he definitely couldn't do without the deposit. So he chuckled. "Little girl, it seems like the princess's tears might end up in your hands in the future." Before he could finish speaking, the hall was dead silent. What this meant was, he had already chosen Seraphina as his granddaughter-in-law with just one look. Everyone's gazes of admiration, jealousy, or unwillingness were focused on her, waiting to see how this little girl would respond. Even Harrison was a little stunned. He had absolutely no idea that his grandfather would suddenly say that. It was no different from saying Seraphina must marry into the Lancaster family in the future. He suddenly felt nervous, maybe she was scared to death. But looking over, he saw her still smiling sweetly, her face flushed, smiling, saying, "Thank you, Grandpa." It seems that this diamond and the birthday dance are the fate of Harrison and I. After saying that, she unconsciously moved closer to him. He slightly curved his lips, smiling happily. His grandfather was even more satisfied. However, the eyes of the people around him were more complicated. For example, Vivian was sad and patient, but these past few days she had been like that, not knowing what she was upset about. Mia smiled painfully, her face full of resentment as if she was cursing someone. Serafina only cared about her own happiness, regardless of everything. She also accidentally saw two elders of the Kensington family sitting next to each other, one with a calm and extraordinary expression, the other with a gentle smile but a hint of ostentation. She guessed that the former was David's grandfather, the other was William's grandfather. Sure enough, she soon saw David's figure still as cold as ice. He was saying something to his grandfather, his expression extremely respectful. She secretly sighed. She had always been grateful to David, but she also knew clearly that was not love. Thinking of this, she couldn't help but worry. She must destroy the corner of the Kensington family. But how could she separate the Williams branch from the Davids branch, so that the people of the Kensington clan wouldn't save Carner? She had to see the situation. During the meal, Harrison and his grandfather went out to the hall to offer drinks. Serafina sat in the hall eating and playing with Emma's two children. Emma saw that and laughed. "If you like it, then have a few yourself." Serafina glared at her, "Stingy, I just played a little and you said it. Don't you have another child in your belly?" Perhaps everyone secretly acknowledged that she was likely the future mistress of the Lancaster family, so they all rushed over to get to know her and pour her tea, which instead made her lose all interest. When she passed another table, she saw Harrison's bodyguards sitting in a row, their faces serious as they licked cakes. She only glanced at them, and the whole group stood up. One of them still had butter on his mouth, and they all shouted, "Hello, sister-in-law." She awkwardly turned around and found Vivian standing behind her. She raised her glass of champagne, her smile hiding a hint of sadness. "You have a boyfriend, congratulations." Serafina clinked glasses with her, then said, "I've been so busy lately, I haven't been able to visit you. Is my aunt's condition any better?" "The doctor said she's much better, but I don't know when she'll wake up." Vivian finished speaking, lowered her eyes in a daze for a moment. "That's right, thank you for recommending me to act in your new movie. I told you, it's because your acting skills are already good." Vivian curled her lips again, seeming truly happy. "After the incident in Macau, I think I've come to my senses. Turning myself into a devilish appearance like that for others is very foolish. Now I'll just focus on acting. I'll leave business matters to someone trustworthy. As for revenge, I have to improve myself first and then we'll talk about it." Serafina heard her previous sentences, originally wanted to comfort her, but the last sentence made her confused. She was about to ask, someone hugged her from behind. A familiar feeling lingered around. She turned her head and saw Harrison's gentle face. "Something's up." He looked at Vivian, without any expression. His tone was calm. "I'll borrow her for a bit." After saying that, he pulled Serafina's hand and left. Vivian calmly watched their backs, finished her glass of champagne. This time, her throat was both bitter and astringent. She still remembered the feeling of helplessness and despair when she was suffocating and about to die in the sea water. But someone used warm and strong strength to say, "Don't be afraid, I will be with you." She thought she was lucky, receiving the rare gentleness of this cold man, but after waking up, he was still cold, making her think she was just dreaming, drawing a warm embrace to rely on. It was not until a few days ago that the dream and reality were both shattered. She was about to go out when she saw Harrison's car stop in front of the door, followed by his dignified figure. She was strangely happy, wanting to go say hello, but Serafina got out of the car. Now she discovered, it turned out that the cold man who was indifferent to everything also had such a gentle smiling side, able to gently stroke Serafina's cheek, able to stubbornly compete with the summer wind while playing with Serafina's hair. He could also kiss her so passionately that he forgot the world. She tiptoed, hugging his neck. He bent down to hug her slim waist. The two of them pressed close together, as if he wanted to let her enter his flesh. It turned out that, in a place where no one could see, he was also so intimate and gentle, but only for Serafina. It turned out that everything under the sea, the rescue in the stormy night, was for Serafina. Vivian's soul was lost and she returned, collapsing on her mother's bed and crying for a long time. Vivian was not willing. Before Serafina was just a follower of hers, Why did Serafina gradually get everything, while she gradually lost everything? But more than that was sorrow. There were feelings that could only die in the heart. Now she had lost her halo, her life was debauched. What qualifications did she have to be so ambitious? She has long been inferior to Serafina. What right does she have to covet Serafina's things? She clearly wasn't this passive and helpless before. What should she do now? Should she listen to Serafina, stop revolving around others, so that she can have her own happiness like Serafina?